I made maple bacon pumpkin pies. This isn't your traditional pumpkin pie. This has some sweet and salty maple bacon on the top. And before you go down and comment later on in the video, I use butternut squash to make these pumpkin pies. But I live in Austria, and according to the German language, the butternut is a pumpkin, because here it's called Butternus kürbis, which kürbis translates to pumpkin. Therefore, in Austria, this is a pumpkin pie. Okay, so for the pastry, I'm going to be using a food processor to mix this up. It makes it come together super quick. So we're going to go in with some all-purpose flour, a couple of teaspoons of sugar, and a little bit of salt. So we'll pop the lid on, and we'll just pulse this a couple of times to get it all mixed together. Next, we're going to add the butter. Now, I've had this butter chilling out in the freezer because we want to keep everything super cold. So we're going to plop all that in. My butter's also unsalted. And we're just going to pulse this a few times until the mixture becomes nice and crumbly. I don't know if it comes up on the camera, but it looks like little pebbles throughout the flour, which is exactly what you're looking for. Now we're going to put the lid on, run the machine on a low speed, and while we run it, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of liquid. Once I've added that, the dough should come together quite quick. I would only start with 2 tablespoons of water at the time, and if it doesn't come together properly, I'll show you what it should look like once it comes together. Just add like a half a teaspoon more. I wouldn't add too much water at this time. You want just enough so it comes together. So, machine on slow. So this is also cold water that I got in here. So after you added the 2, just give it a second, give it a bit of a feel, and it needs a little bit more water. So we'll add another half a tablespoon. So we're going to add another half a tablespoon because it hasn't quite come together yet. It doesn't look like it's come together, but if I take a little bit and pinch it between my fingers, it actually presses together, which is exactly what we're looking for. So I'm going to get this out of here onto the bench, and then we'll bring it together. Now we're just going to press it all together until it becomes one nice little disc. Okay, then we're going to get some cling film out. We're going to get it wrapped up. Now we're going to set this in the fridge. Let it chill out for about 10 to 15 minutes. So this dough I made could make a big pie, but I'm going to make a couple of little mini ones. So I'm going to split mine in half. Then we'll wrap this half up that we're not going to use while we work with this piece. So I'll put this back in the fridge while we use this. So I'm going to put just a little bit of flour down, just to help with the non-stickage. And then we're going to start rolling this dough out. So I've got my dough rolled out. If you have any big cracks forming around the edge of your dough, just try and stick them back together as best you can. Like add a little bit here, stuck it back together. Not too much of a drama. So as you can see, I've rolled the dough out. Bigger than my baking dish I'm going to use, because you've got to account for the depth on the sides that we've got to put it into. So make sure you put a bit of flour down on top of your dough, because the next step we're going to do is just roll it onto your rolling pin. And because it comes over when we roll it and it meets onto there, you don't want it to stick together. So we're just going to roll this up nice and gently. Get our baking tin in here, and then you just plop it on top. Is you want to get the dough down into the bottom, but you don't want to push it down because then you'll stretch your dough and it'll become too thin. So you just want to pick it up gently, and you want to, holding the dough up, then you want to just let it fall down so it covers the whole inside of the dish. Try not to push with your fingers too much because you will stretch the dough and it will become too thin. Now we're going to trim off the excess dough. Because you can't see the edge, you want to still give it a little bit of extra. So just use a knife, or you could even use a pair of scissors for this step. But you just want to trim off all the excess dough. Now with the edges, you just want to tuck in a little bit of the excess. So the crust on top there is a bit thicker. Now you're going to get a bit more heat that comes on the top there. So if it's a little bit thicker, it's not going to overcook. It's actually going to help in the cooking process because it's not going to overcook and become all dry and nasty. It's going to be just right. Once you've got it all tucked in, looks a little something like that. Now it's not completely even over the top, but I'm not a master baker. So if you want to make a little wavy pattern around the edge, be my guest and go ahead. I'm not doing that because I think it looks better like this. So I'm going to stick this in the freezer, not the fridge, because we want this nice and cold while we get the other one rolled out. Okay, so I've had both my pie crusts sitting in the freezer for about 15 minutes. Well, one was a bit longer, but it's going to be fine. We're going to blind bake these little pastries. So I've got some baking paper here. To make this easy to use with, just screw it up in your hand first, then unscrew it. It's going to be making it a lot more pliable, easy to use, and get it pushed down onto this pastry. So for blind baking, you can use some proper baking beads that you can buy from a shop. You can use some dried beans, but I've always got rice on hand. Every time I use rice for baking, I keep it in this jar and I can use it over and over. So I'm just going to pour some in there. The reason why you want to use some baking beads is you don't want any bubbles forming in your pastry. Now the weight in the top that is provided by the rice just keeps it all nice and pressed down so it doesn't bubble up and, get too puffy on you, which is what you want. So we'll get this one sorted out. So we'll get the second one sorted out as well. Now we're going to stick these into a 200°C preheated oven for about 20-25 minutes, and then we're going to come back and remove the rice. Alrighty, so I've had my little pie crust in there, baking away for 20 minutes. Now we're just going to remove the rice. Simple as that. Now we're going to stick these back in the oven for about another 10 minutes, just to get a little bit more browning going on in the middle of the pie. Alright, once your pastry is finished pie baking, we're going to set them aside for at least 15 minutes before we tip the filling in. We're going to start by cutting this pumpkin in half. Now we're just going to scoop out this seedy part. Then we're just going to plop it on this tray. There's some baking paper in there. Helps with the cleanup afterwards. So we're just going to put them cut side down on the baking tray. And then slap this into a 200°C preheated oven till they're nice and soft. I'll let you know how long it takes when I pull them out. So they're in there for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And they're nice and soft. So I'm going to let them cool down completely. Then I'm going to stick them in the fridge. Back to you, present day Mark. Thanks, past Mark. You did an amazing job on that pumpkin. So I've already weighed out the amount of pumpkin that I'm going to need for this recipe. With the leftover roast pumpkin that you're going to have, I've made a short on making these amazing little roast pumpkin patties. They're in my shorts playlist, so go back and check those out. We'll link that video in the description down below. So to make this a nice silky smooth puree, we're going to pass it through a sieve. Then with a little bench scraper, or you can even use the back of a spoon, whatever you got. We're just going to force it through so it's nice and smooth. Now I've got my pumpkin all pressed through. We're going to make up the filling. So first we're going to put in the pumpkin into the bowl. Then we're going to add the cream, the sugar, clove, some cinnamon, and some ginger. And some salt. Okay, then we're going to get this all mixed together. So with this filling, because we're going to be adding some nice sweet salty bacon on top, we're actually going to make the filling a little bit on the saltier side, because I think that's going to make it pop a lot more. So we'll get this mixed in first, and then we'll add the eggs. Because once we add the eggs, we don't want to beat this too much, because that'll create too many air pockets in the mixture. Then your mix is going to crack on top too much. So I've got my mixture all together now. Then I'm going to add in the eggs. Now I'm going to add 2 eggs total. I'm just going to add 1 at a time. So we'll crack that one in, then we'll get this mixed through, and then we'll get the other one in. Try not to whisk it too vigorously or mix it too hard, because you're going to create too many air bubbles in your mixture. Just bang your bowl on the table a few times, just to bring any air bubbles to the top, and they pop. So now, it's ready for the pie crust. So now my pastry's been out of the oven for about 15-20 minutes at this point. Don't skip this step, because if you pour them straight into the hot dough, you're going to have a soggy pastry. So just take that 15 minutes. Make sure everything stays nice and crisp. Also, before we pour it in there, give your mixture another little tap, get all those air bubbles out, and then, simple enough, we're just filling it up. And just before we put them in, I'm going to give them just a little sprinkle of some flaky salt before we stick them in there, just to really drive home that sweet salty flavour that we're going for on this pumpkin pie. Not too much, just a little sprinkle. Now we're going to get these into the oven for about 45 minutes. I've reduced the temperature to 175 degrees. So we'll pop them in, and we'll come back in about 45 minutes and give them a check. 175°C. For my maple bacon garnish that goes on top of this pie, I'm going to use some little bacon bits here, and we're going to pour some maple over the top. We'll start with a tablespoon, and we'll see if we need to add any more. So we'll just pour it in, get it all mixed around, get every little bacon bit nice and coated in that maple. So I'm going to air fry this bacon. Now, I've got the rack removed from the bottom of the air fryer basket, and I've just put some baking paper down, just to stop anything burning on the bottom of this. It'll make cleanup a lot easier. Now we're just going to pour all of the bacon bits in there, then we'll just get them all spread out. Because my air fryer is quite small and not very powerful, every time I use it, I turn mine on 200. If you've got a bigger, better air fryer, which most people probably do, you're going to have to use your own intuition on how hot you should use yours. But for my little one, 200, I'll stick them in there, I'll check them after a few minutes, see how they're coming. So my bacon bits have been in there for just over 5 minutes, and they're ready. Now, you could do this in an oven or a pan, but in my opinion, air fry does just as good a job in probably a quarter of the time. Take these out, set them on the plate, and then they're ready to go. As they cool down, they will get crispier. So I had my little pumpkin pies in there for 50 minutes on the dot. As you can see, they did crack around a little bit, but they have puffed up. So as they deflate, when they cool down, those cracks should close up a little bit. At this point, I'm going to sprinkle over the bacon that we made before. Don't be shy with it. Now my hope with this, while we put them on right now as well, that as this deflates and comes into the center, these bacon bits will stick in there a lot better. Okay, once we have the bacon on top, now comes the hardest part. we have to let these cool down completely before we tuck into them. So, now the waiting game starts. Now I could have given you a cross section, but I'm Australian. And with a pie like this is a single serve. It'd just be a shame to cut it in half. That is 10 times better. This is my second go at doing this. I don't usually bake, but this version that I made now, the one that we're going to be posting online, this is absolutely phenomenal. Sweet, savoury, salty, cinnamon and clove notes coming through. Maybe if you're bored of your old pumpkin pie recipe, give this one a go. You'd be pleasantly surprised.